Hello everybody and happy Turtle Tuesday. We have a great show planned for you tonight. I feel like I'm flying through space with my pizza. There's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to talk about. Mutant Mayhem news, new video game news, and of course the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles birthday on Cinco de Mayo last week. So get ready, Mutation Nation. Get excited and let's go! Welcome to my Ninja Turtles channel. It's 8 p.m. in the Big Apple, and this is the Ninja Turtles Show. How are you? Your weekly live stream every Turtle Tuesday, covering Ninja Turtles news, toys, cartoons, comics, movies, video games, and more.
Pizza heaven!
Whatever the shell we want. Tonight's show's gonna be fun. Tonight's show's gonna be pretty cool. I think we have a lot to go over, and I'm pretty happy to share it with you guys. How's it going, everybody? How's it going in the chat? My Clone Ninja Turtles channel trolling me again. Big and Soft Raffi, SR Striker, Budward, Mr. Turtle, Veronica, Gen X Catholic, Darrow, Wistful. How's it going? I think it's time for a Turtle Tuesday party. It's in the forecast, and we're getting down. So happy Turtle Tuesday to ya. We're talking about new writers on Mutant Mayhem. Did you see there are new writers? Talking about the Splintered Fate video game for Apple Arcade. Some new toys, an interview with Chuck Patton from the 2003 show, and a whole lot more. So make sure to press the like button on this installment of the Ninja Turtles Show. Subscribe to my Ninja Turtles channel here on YouTube and over on Rumble. And of course, follow on Twitter at my TMNT channel. It should be a fun show. Thank you for joining me. Happy Turtle Tuesday. Let's get right to it. Do this live stream every Turtle Tuesday, and I do videos every Thursday and Saturday. So make sure to check those out. Last week, did some videos you may have seen. I did a video about Peter Laird's artwork. Peter Laird's artwork from the early 90s, the Ninja Turtles Adventures comic books. And I showed how the artwork comes about, or how it used to come about in the 90s. Do it a little bit differently now on computers, but back in the day, they would start with the pencils, and then they would go to inks. You could see pencils here, inks, and then to the color. And I just think it's so cool to watch all three of these in line, the pencils, the inks, and then the color. It's just so cool to see how this stuff comes about. I could just scroll through these all night. I really just wanted this to be the video. Pencil, ink, and color. I don't know how they do it now with computers, but it's such a neat process. And this is such a cool cover with Armagon, showing Leonardo on the ground. Ending up with the color cover. This is drawn by Peter Laird as well. Really great stuff. So just wanted to show that to you. And while we're talking about videos I released last week, did you see the little interview, a conversation with Teddy Gaming Review? British Ninja Turtles YouTube channel. Teddy Gaming Review and I had a little chat, and that was really fun. So that was the first interview. Hopefully it went okay. Feel like I let Teddy Gaming Review down. He does such great stuff, and I just wanted to go better for him. And you know, it's tough to do an interview. It's a new skill. First year of doing YouTube videos, I just worked on uploading videos, and then I brought in the live stream aspect. And then I'm working on interviews for this year. It's my second year of making, well, I guess it's my first full year of making YouTube videos. And so I'm going for a new thing. Hey, Leona. Hey, Shade. Hey, Teddy Gaming Review. How's it going, everybody? Mr. Turtle. Aiden. How's it going? Krusty Krab. Demon Turtle Leonardo. Happy Turtle Tuesday, guys. So a couple more exciting videos for you later this week. One about some new Ninja Turtles podcasts. Have a video coming out, the Best Ninja Turtles Podcast Part 2. Coming out this Thursday. I already did Best Ninja Turtles Podcast Part 1. I just wanted to collect some of my favorite Ninja Turtles podcasts that I listened to, and I wanted to share with you guys. So I already did a Part 1 like a year ago, and I have a Part 2 coming out this Thursday. Best Ninja Turtles Podcast Part 2. And maybe another interview this Saturday. I'm not sure. There may be an interview. There might not be an interview. We'll see. There might be a different video, but I'm definitely going to be trying to crank out some interviews for the next for the foreseeable future. JR24, bonjour. Peter Laird is a very good artist and great world builder. I completely agree. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, of course, the two co-creators of the Ninja Turtles, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. What a duo. What a cool duo, and definitely a great artist and great world builder. So that's what I wanted to mention about some videos coming up and interviews, and thank you again to Teddy Gaming Review. Great guest, great guy, great YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe to Teddy Gaming Review and to his podcast, Talking Turtles. Next thing I wanted to mention, some other stuff that came out last week. Some other stuff you may have seen. It was the Ninja Turtles' birthday on the 5th. May 5th. Cinco de Mayo was the Ninja Turtles' birthday. It was when their first comic first debuted. And one of those co-creators, Kevin Eastman, posted a little birthday message about the Ninja Turtles. Kevin Eastman posted a little birthday message on his Instagram, and he took a little walk down memory lane, celebrating the Ninja Turtles' birthday and the Ninja Turtles' 39th anniversary, and I thought it would be great to go over with you guys. So he shared the house that they created the Turtles in. This is the old house. Looks like it's from an old photograph, and it's the 39th anniversary. Kevin Eastman said he spent the day drawing. So 40 years later, the guy still just enjoys himself drawing, hanging out, doing covers, drawing Ninja Turtles, 40 years into his Turtles career. What a nice day to spend the Turtles' birthday. And he shared some really old photos, some old promotional stuff. This is like really from probably like 1984 or 1985, really early stuff. And it's great to see this classic Mirage Studios stuff, and it's all just like in their living room because they didn't have a studio. That's why they called it Mirage Studios. And a young Kevin Eastman with a bunch of production materials around him. It's cool to see how they put these all together. They would draw them and ink them and photocopy them and take them to the printer and printed all their comic books themselves. An old-fashioned way. Young Kevin Eastman with that great 80s mustache. Here he is crossing some stuff off a checklist. I think Kevin Eastman may be the creator of the open mouth happy face. The open mouth happy face in the picture. I think he may have created this back in the 80s. He's holding up some Ninja Turtles artwork. This might be for the first Ninja Turtles comic. I'm not even sure, but it's definitely an old one. And everything is like yellow. Was everything yellow in the 80s, or this like sepia was just real life? It seems like the wallpaper is yellow. The picture is yellow. The paper, everything is yellow. And here's a young Peter Laird. He was still bald. He balded early. What can you say? Yeah, he's one of those guys. He looked old when he was in his 20s, so he looks great now. He's looked old for 40 years. He just looks great now. He just looks like Peter Laird. He's one of those guys who goes bald young and looks fine. Looks cool. So it's nice to see these classic pictures. Very nostalgic stuff. And here's the guys now. This is how you take a picture of yourself when you're in your 60s. You only want to get half your face included. You don't want to do a full-on, straightforward picture of your face. You got to leave a little to the maybe just a part of your cheek. That's how you got to take a picture when you're of a certain age. But Peter and Kevin are all grown up now. They're good guys. They're still friends. They've had a lot of memories together, a lot of ups and downs, and they're celebrating the 39th anniversary of the Turtles together. And it's good to see that they're still pals, and they look good. They're good friends, and created a lot of cool memories over the years. So bringing it into the present day, they celebrated a lot of stuff in the past, and Kevin walked us down memory lane. And this is his desk now. He's still working on Turtle stuff, and he shares a cover that he's working on for the IDW Ninja Turtles comics. These are the comics that are currently coming out. Do you recognize these characters? If you can't tell who these characters are, it's the three Weasels and looks like Alopex. So they're in a familiar position as well. So it's cool to see this new cover with the three Weasels and Alopex in the signature Turtles pose that they made on their first cover. So it's the same pose that we talked about the other week. It's in the beginning of the 2012 show. It's on the cover of a bunch of comics. It's a classic Turtles pose that they make on the cover of their first issue. You can see it on Kevin Eastman's desk here. He's also got the My First Turtle, My First Michelangelo, and we may be getting a new version of that My First Michelangelo. We got the Kevin Eastman My First Michelangelo. We may be getting the Peter Laird version of the My First Michelangelo, the first Ninja Turtle Michelangelo, pretty soon. I saw a little rumor about that. You can see the Last Ronin on his desk. And if you look in the upper left-hand corner, you may see something familiar, bringing us into the future. We went through the past, we went through the 80s, the 90s, Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, ups and downs, and now into the future. If you see something in the upper left-hand corner, does it look familiar? The first Michelangelo figure, and now some other new figures. The Return to New York figures. You are correct, Mr. Turtle. It looks like it's packaging for the Return to New York, the new Mirage Studios comic book figures that we saw previewed a long time ago at a convention. It's like the new bulky design. This is how the Turtles were drawn towards the late 80s, early 90s kind of look. They're a little bit bulkier. Turtles had been around for a few issues. And they have a new look. So they've already done the issue 1 Mirage Studios comic book look, and now NECA is doing this late 80s Return to New York style of the Mirage Studios comic Turtles. So Kevin Eastman celebrated the Turtles' birthday in a wonderful way. Happy birthday to the Ninja Turtles. Having a slice of pizza on you. Cinco de Mayo. May 5th is when the first comic book debuted, way back in the 80s. So that's their birthday, I guess. May 5th. And Kevin Eastman did a great job celebrating it. And big thanks to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird for celebrating the Ninja Turtles' birthday and for creating the Ninja Turtles. So thank you to Kevin and Peter for creating the Ninja Turtles. I love them. What can I say? Next, I wanted to mention something that happened on Saturday. We talked about something that happened on Friday, the Ninja Turtles' birthday. Now, what happened on Saturday? The next day, it was Free Comic Book Day. And I mentioned this a couple months ago, but I forgot to mention it last week. There was a Ninja Turtles comic book that came out for free on Free Comic Book Day. And it was a reprint of Saturday Morning Adventures, like an abridged version. It was a shortened version, I think, of Saturday Morning Adventures and a short story from the Rise of the TMNT team. So it's a little bit of a two-parter. Contained 2 shortened down stories from Ninja Turtles comic books that had previously been printed. And they were giving it away at a lot of local comic book shops. So maybe you got this thing, maybe you missed it. Sorry, I forgot to give you a reminder last week. I told you guys about this like in February or January when it was first announced, but I forgot to remind you last week. So my bad, but this comic book is now available for free online. So you may be able, like if you have a Kindle or you have like Comixology or through Amazon or whatever, if you have that, you can download this for free. And like I mentioned, you can always check out your local library. You can check out physical stuff and digital stuff. Lots of libraries have digital apps. You can download comic books for free, even the original stuff from the 80s, reprints of that, and new comic books like this. So it's free comic book. Maybe your local comic store, your local comic shop still has it available. We don't know. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Cool stuff. A lot of cool Ninja Turtle stuff this weekend. From all different eras too. The 80s, the 90s, Rise, Saturday Morning Adventures. Whatever you want. And also, while we're talking about different eras of the Turtles, an interview came out this past week with Chuck Patton from the 2003 show. So we've covered 87, Rise, we covered all the different, now we're covering the 2003 era. Even though the show's over 20 years old, it's still making news, still doing interviews with the cast and crew. And this interview comes from Ask Air YouTube channel, pretty cool YouTube channel, Ask Air. He's done some Ninja Turtles interviews before, and they're pretty good. So Chuck Patton did a lot of things in the 2003 show. It says here he was the first supervising director. So he's also a comic book artist, animator, storyboard artist, all-around talented director. And he worked on seasons 1 and 2, and I think he had a big part in the show. He was like a pretty pivotal guy. And he gave a pretty frank interview. I think once it's been 20 years since the show has premiered, you've got 20 years under your belt. I think you're going to speak a little more honestly about your experiences with the show. You know, it's been 20 years. He can tell you what really happened, and he really gave a lot of cool behind-the-scenes stuff. He talked about how he got the job, and he also talked about why he left the job, why he left the show. And Chuck Patton, pretty interesting guy, well-spoken, cool guy, very charismatic and personable. And he also talked about the Japanese influence on the 2003 show. It was kind of a light, not like an anime influence, but there was definitely like a Japanese style, maybe an anime style influence as well. And it's really cool to see all the influences kind of pointed out. He kind of went through all the different things. that he felt were influences that he tried to include in the 2003 show. And he talked about why the turtles didn't have pupils. He talked about a lot of details. He went really in depth. He talked about his contract, like his working contract for the 2003 show, how he was like a part of the show, and his experience with the executives and how that all came about, and the different voice actors. And he was really candid, and it was really cool to hear this interview. And like I said, you got 20 years distance between you and the show. You're not at risk of losing your job. The job went away 20 years ago. So it's nice to hear him be honest about all the behind the scenes stuff. You can see here he was also credited with series character development. Chuck Patton, series character development. And he seems like a nice guy. Seems like a good guy too. You know, and most of all, seems like a nice guy. He talked about the 2012 show. He talked about Rise. And he even talked about Mutant Mayhem. So he's still kind of, you know, he's like not a diehard Turtles fan. But he still keeps an eye out for the Turtles stuff. He still keeps an ear out. So it's really good interview with Chuck Patton from the 2003 show. I recommend checking this thing out. Came out over the weekend and it was really good. Mr. Turtle says, Chuck has a big influence on this show. I want to meet him in person. Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. Wistful, 2003 is a great series. I've been rewatching it. Pretty cool stuff. It's a good show. It's a good show, and the episodes are available. They're on Paramount Plus in the US, and they're available other places. So check it out. Great show, 2003 show, and Chuck Patton was a big part of that. So we salute you, Chuck Patton, for doing such a good job on the 2003 show. Let's type a T in the chat for Chuck Patton, director, multi-talented guy working on the 2003 show. We salute you for your contributions to the Ninja Turtles. It's been over 20 years. We salute you. We type a T in the chat. T for thank you, T for Turtles. That's our little secret gang symbol, our little secret hand symbol that we're typing here. And of course, the T emoji, courtesy of JR24, bonjour. JR24, big T emoji user, creating that. And thank you for doing that, JR24. Even my Clone Ninja Turtles channel is trolling me, typing a T in the chat. T for trolling, apparently, from my Clone Ninja Turtles channel and impersonating me. So moving right along, while we're talking about great Ninja Turtles content, I wanted to talk about an upcoming movie that I think is going to be pretty good. Mutant Mayhem? Maybe you've heard of it. Have you heard of Mutant Mayhem? Are you aware of this movie? I think we're all aware of it at this point, and had a little bit of cool news come out over the past week. Something I noticed, something a few people noticed. Seth Rogen debuts first look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Seth Rogen debuts first look. So this was after CinemaCon. This was when the Ninja Turtles were premiering a little exclusive lengthened trailer, a little exclusive clip, a little preview at CinemaCon in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. This is their guerrilla promotion, of course, with the Ninja Turtle skateboard and putting bandanas on Caesar statue. And they mentioned in this article something I was not aware of. Jeff Rowe, directed with co-director Kyler Spears, from a script by Rogen and longtime creative partner Evan Goldberg, Rowe, Dan Hernandez, and Benji Sammet. So these two new guys at the end, Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet, are new writers. And apparently the writers have been replaced. Or the writer, excuse me. There was one writer. I wasn't sure about this, so I checked. I looked back in the history, and it says Brendan O'Brien would be writing the screenplay. So I'm not sure if they do one person writes the screenplay, and then another group is considered writing the movie. They write a script. I don't know how this stuff works, but it looks like Brendan O'Brien was replaced by Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet. So I'm not sure if they did a new draft of the script, if they did an updated version of the script, if they completely scrapped new things, if they're just fine-tuning it, if they're doing some sort of, if they're punching up the script. I'm not sure how that works, but it looks like Brendan O'Brien used to be credited and now is no longer credited and was replaced by Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet. So what does this mean for Mutant Mayhem? I don't know. It seems a little bit late. They're 3 months away from the movie coming out. It's a little late into production. Oh me gosh, I agree. Oh me gosh, that's what I saw. Is this a good sign? Is this a bad sign? Is it just a technical thing, like someone did the script and then someone else did the screenplay? And I don't know how that works. If it's just credited differently, if someone does a different draft of the script, if they just do a punch up, if they're credited, if the last people to touch it. There's a lot of complicated rules and unions and stuff in Hollywood. But it seems like they're replacing Brendan O'Brien, Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet. So I don't know what this means. I read that there are two comedians. Brendan O'Brien had written Neighbors, I believe, and Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet have written Detective Pikachu. So two new writers. Poor Brendan O'Brien got dropped. He got a lot of good press. He was in the initial press release, but then apparently Brendan O'Brien was replaced. So Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet, maybe they'll be getting the final credit. The writer credit, the screenwriter, the screenplay credit. If those will be two different credits. Maybe it's a writer's strike thing. I don't know. Good call, Brian Woodruff. Might be the writer's strike. Fortunately for me, I don't know how to read. I don't know how to write, so the writer's strike didn't affect me at all. My wonderful writing, I take care of it all myself. I'm like Shakespeare, practically. The writer's strike didn't affect me at all, but maybe it affected the movie. They had to replace Brendan O'Brien. Maybe he's like a union guy. So I don't know how that works. So thank you for your contribution, Brendan O'Brien, and welcome to the team, Dan Hernandez and Benji Sammet. Not sure about this, if that's good news, bad news. I know that August is considered a dump month sometimes. Film studios will dump movies in August. It's not a popular month, and it's towards the end of the summer. They kind of just drop movies in, all the back to school chaos. The movies kind of just get lost in the mix. You know, or like releasing a movie in January or February. People aren't going to see a movie in January. I think the big releases are summertime, like spring and summer, and Thanksgiving and Christmas. Those are the times to release a movie that they feel will be successful. Like the Mario Brothers movie was a big success. It was released at the beginning of the summer. It's going to be a summer hit all summer long. One of those kind of things. But releasing a movie beginning of August is possibly a bad sign, and replacing the writer, not sure if it's the writer's strike, but possibly a bad sign as well. But I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. There's a lot more cool stuff coming out from Mutant Mayhem, and I'm excited about it. There was a cool little exclusive article that came out today from Empire. I'm not sure who they are, but the director, Jeff Rowe, chatted a little bit, and this was a tease for a new magazine article that's coming out from this company. And Jeff Rowe said that Mutant Mayhem is like Stand By Me and Lady Bird, but with Ninja Turtles. So I'm not sure what that means. Stand By Me and Lady Bird, but with Ninja Turtles. It's a pretty weird description. So I don't know if he's just trying to create an exciting little kind of catchy tagline for the movie, but they released this cool new art. The turtles look a lot different. Yeah, Big and Soft Rafi, I agree. What does that even mean? Lady Bird and Stand By Me. It's like one of these weird analogies. Like it's just like these random things, and I'm not sure what it means, but the turtles look cool. They look aggressive. They've got the all white eyes. That answers the question. Will they have pupils only, or will they go white eyes when they're in action mode? And they look tough on the cover here, or on the rooftop here. They look tough. They've got the all white eyes. Maybe how the 2012 show and how Rise did it, where they toggle back and forth between pupils and no pupils when they're in battle or not. But this is an awesome new photo, and it looks tougher. I feel like the teaser was a little bit, jokey. It really emphasized the teenage thing, the coming of age thing. And that's really what the director, Jeff Rowe, emphasized in the article as well. That it's going to be a coming of age story. They're going to learn how to be themselves, and they're going to fit in. And it seems like it's going to be a big focus of the movie, the youth, the young nature of the turtles. It's going to be kind of like a Rise of the TMNT, where they're coming into their own, learning how to be the Ninja Turtles and forming as a team. But the Stand By Me, Lady Bird references, I'm not sure what that means, so we'll find out. But cool little snippet from Jeff Rowe. Seems like a nice guy, and he's the director of the movie, and the new artwork looks great. I'm excited for this new artwork. You could see Raph's belt buckle initial is kind of taped in place. Donnie has his fanny pack. And they're all grimacing. They all have that signature Ninja Turtles grimace. This is how the Turtles were drawn in the first issue. This is how the original toys looked in the 80s, and this is a great look, tough look for the Turtles. And I'm not sure if it's a promotional image or a screenshot, but cool stuff from Mutant Mayhem. Just wanted to pass that along. Been a pretty nice week for pretty nice week for Ninja Turtles news. A lot of variety this week, a lot of cool stuff. And if that wasn't enough for you, do you want some more news? A little game came out this past week. Maybe you played it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. Did you see this? Splintered Fate, a new game. Available for free when you subscribe to Apple Arcade. So it's not really available for free. You have to subscribe to Apple Arcade. But it looks pretty neat, and it has a couple cool things going on in Splintered Fate. It seems like it's a game about portals, and the game kind of occurs differently every time you play it. I haven't played it yet. I don't have Apple Arcade. But it's exclusive for now. I'm not sure if they're going to expand it to other devices, other systems. I'm not sure if you can play it on Android or on PS5 or, on PC or something. I mean, you can probably play it on your computer. You can play it on your Mac, of course, with Apple Arcade, but it seems pretty cool. It's available, and it's got a lot of cool stuff going for it. All new TMNT action, thrilling new story. You can choose your favorite turtle, roguelike action. They're using the word roguelike all over the place for describing this game. Roguelike, roguelike, roguelike. When did this become such a buzzword? What does roguelike even mean? Roguelike. Can't they find a synonym for roguelike? I saw it in every single description of this game. It's for everyone, but I don't know. Seems pretty neat. Play with friends, customize your powers. You can play as the turtles. And it's pretty cool. The game changes every time you play it. It's fast action, it's combat. No two runs are the same. There's randomized power-ups, room layouts. So even the room layouts change. You play the level again. The level changes. So you replay the level, and the level changes. And it's a lot like Hades, apparently, is what everyone says. It's what it said in the press release, and it's what Brian is saying in the chat, that it's a lot like the game Hades. So I'm not sure exactly how that description fits in, but it looks pretty cool. You can play as your favorite turtle. You can take control of all 4 turtles. They have unique powers. There's cooperative gameplay, up to 4 players. Cool 4 locations, 4 iconic New York City locations. So I think it's like sewers, rooftop, street level. I'm not sure if any of you guys have played this one. It looks really neat though. And of course, all the classic Ninja Turtles characters. And the exciting thing about it, it came out with a comic book too, a digital-only comic book. Splintered Fate was announced today. It's a $1.99 digital only from IDW, the Ninja Turtles comic book publishers. It's a short story. It's 12 pages, full color. And the game was co-written by Tom Waltz, the writer of the IDW comics. Tom Waltz, the writer of the Last Ronin comics. Tom Waltz, the writer of a comment left on one of my videos. Not only has he written comic books and The Last Ronin, he wrote a comment on one of my videos here on YouTube. So I'm pretty fancy, you could say. So Tom Waltz penned, he's a co-writer on the game. And the 12-page story looks pretty neat. Looks like it's the IDW Ninja Turtles, just 4 of them. I'm not seeing Jenica anywhere, so maybe this is kind of a, separate thing from IDW, influenced by the IDW comic books, but not taking place in that continuity. So, hats off to Tom Waltz, the IDW crew. This has got to be exciting for them. A comic book that ties into a game that's available with Apple. A partnership with Apple Arcade is a pretty neat thing for the Ninja Turtles. So, partnership with Apple Apple seems to be a pretty good company to partner with. And the artwork looks great. I'm not sure who did this artwork or if it's inspired by an artist that's worked on IDW. But the game looks cool. I'm thinking about checking it out, and I'm thinking about checking out the comic book too. The comic book is like a prequel to the game, I guess. And Shredder's in the game. He looks awesome. He looks tough. Definitely an IDW version of Shredder. He has the cape. He has the cowl around his neck. And like I said, cooperative, up to 4 players. Gameplay. And did I mention it's roguelike? For anybody that likes roguelike games, this one's for you. And there's a lot of cool characters that are involved. Like I said, Shredder, and of course Foot Soldiers and all the classic villains and all that kind of stuff. Villains and allies, and you could see one of the Punk Frogs in the upper right-hand corner. He looks tough. He looks like the IDW version of the Punk Frogs. He's got the black leather jacket, the spiked bat. Looks pretty good. Oh, Shade, thank you. Roguelike is a subgenre of role-playing computer games traditionally characterized by a dungeon crawl through procedurally generated levels, turn-based gameplay, grid-based movement, and permanent death of the player character. Ah, okay, I understand now. I understand why they're summarizing it as roguelike instead of doing that long description. So, grid-based movement, turn-based gameplay. It's kind of like an action RPG to an extent. I don't know how to describe these things. Looks fun, though. Thank you for searching that for me. I appreciate it, Shade. I appreciate it. And it says it's cross-platform, multi-device input. You can play on your, Apple TV or your Mac or your iPhone, all the way down to iPhone 6. Touchscreen supported, controller or mouse and keyboard. Whole family can play together. It's not too crazy. And Splinter has been captured and you need to rescue him. And it seems pretty exciting. Seems like a fun game. It's different every time you play it. I don't know. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty fun stuff. And like I said, the graphics look cool. I watched a couple playthroughs. It looks fun. The turtles look awesome. Seems like it's going to be a well-written story. Tom Waltz has had a lot of irons in the fire. He's doing The Last Ronin 2, Lost Years. He's doing the regular IDW comics with Sophie Campbell. He's doing the Armageddon game. He's doing the Alliance issues. Guy's writing like 500 things at once. I'm not sure how he finds the inspiration and the time and the motivation and keeps it all together. Metalhead will be involved, as you can see here. Any Metalhead fans in the chat? Any Metalhead fans? Metalhead will be featured as well as some other characters. You can adjust your attacks and power up, and there's like 8, typical like collect XP, HP kind of stuff, and level up and progression. You fight giant rats in the sewer. Krusty Krab loves Metalhead. We salute you, Krusty Krab. Bully McGuire 2007 loves Metalhead. Mr. Turtle loves Metalhead. My Clone Ninja Turtles channel loves Metalhead. And Leatherhead is in the game as well. So Metalhead and Leatherhead in the game. A really cool IDW version of Leatherhead. Big giant crocodile or alligator or whatever. Pretty cool stuff. And like I said, the graphics are awesome. You fight giant rats. You fight Leatherhead. It's really cool stuff. So Splintered Fate, available in the Apple Arcade. Splintered Fate. Karai is in the game as well. Turtles look good. The villains look good. Gameplay looks good. And I think they do like a trial week. You can get like a free week of Apple Arcade if you're just thinking about testing it out. Otherwise, I think it's like $5 a month or $50 a year. Splintered Fate. I guess there's a lot of portals and traveling. That's why it's called Splintered Fate. Like you're traveling back and forth, maybe through different versions of time or something, different realities or dimensions. Splintered Fate. Available Apple Arcade. Pretty nice stuff. An all-new game. An all-new version of the Turtles. And another thing I wanted to mention here. Oh yeah, no mention of April in the game and no Casey, so I'm not sure if Casey and April are in there, but we'll see if they're like unlockable characters or they're involved in the story at all, but I don't see them for now. And the next thing, the final thing I wanted to mention, we talked about a bunch of different versions of Turtles tonight, bunch of different 2003 show, Rise, 2012, Mutant Mayhem, and I'd like to talk about the 1987 version of the Ninja Turtles cartoon series, the original cartoon show, maybe the most iconic and well-known and legendary version. Still hanging in there 35 years later. Goofy cartoon. Really doesn't even hold up that well, but it's a fun cartoon. It's a good cartoon. But making some new toys. Super 7 is doing the reaction figures featuring the cartoon version of the Ninja Turtles. They've already done the original toy version, the original Playmates 80s toys. They've done the original Mirage comic book toys, Super 7 reaction figure toys for the original Mirage line of comic books, and now they're doing a version based on the 1987 series. Gen X Catholic, the original 5 episodes absolutely hold up. I agree, they do. And a lot of episodes from the second and third season, and a bunch of other episodes throughout the remainder of the show are very good as well. 3 through 10. A lot of great stuff. you know, comics and or cartoons were different back then, but it is a good show. I think the reason I've always tried to figure out why kids loved it back then, why kids loved it so much. I think the theme song is so good. That theme song to that show is one of the like best theme songs ever. And I think the toys were so awesome. Those original toys were so awesome. So I think kids were playing with the toys, getting hyped up. And then when that theme song hit, kids just went crazy. They didn't even care what happened for the next 30 minutes. They were on this dopamine rush. They were, you know, feeling bliss. Great show. And these toys are pretty good. They look great. I like the 1987 look. They're the kind of default version of the Turtles. And Leona Lovett says the 1987 episode when they meet Usagi is my favorite. Great episode. Love Usagi Yojimbo, and I know you do too, Leona. Usagi Yojimbo. The theme song is great. The characters are great. It's a fun show too. It has a good balance of action and comedy. It's a good show. Very funny. Voice actors. Really, really good stuff. And it's a very, very popular show. So it's cool that those new figures are going to be available pretty soon from Super 7 Reaction Figures. Really nice stuff. Really nice stuff coming out in a little bit. Was that an okay show? We covered quite a bit today. I wanted to thank you for joining me. We covered quite a bit. We talked about the 2003 show. All sorts of shows. I can kick back now, crack open the window, get my cup of tea courtesy of JR24. We can just hang out for a second. We can just hang out and relax. Look at another rainy night. New York City, another rainy night. Put your chats on screen here too. I wanted to say thank you for joining me. This was a fun show. Now we can just relax a little bit, have a little cup of tea. My stomach has been rumbling again. I've been exercising a lot more, so I've been plowing through calories. I need to eat a lot more. I'm having like I eat like 6 meals a day now, so I eat like a pre-dinner and then I eat a post-dinner now. So my stomach has just been grumbling recently with the new schedule and, you know, my new exercise schedule. I'm training like the Ninja Turtles, so burning a lot of calories. I got a carbo load with this pizza and tea. Let's type some tea emojis in the chat, courtesy of JR24. We got tired of typing T for turtles and doing, you know, the T hand symbol, so we're doing teacup emojis. That's our new thing. Pizza slices, teacup emojis. All here on Turtles Tuesday. Turtle Tuesday. So T is for thank you for joining me. Wanted to say thank you. Big and Soft Raffy, JR24, Wistful, Krusty Krab, Leona, Budward, Gen X Catholic, Brian, Mr. Turtle, Demon Turtle Leonardo, Shade Smith, my clone Ninja Turtles channel. Please stop impersonating me. That's not a bit or anything, by the way, you guys. That really kind of freaks me out, but whatever. Krusty Krab, thank you for joining me, everybody. It's been a fun show. Veronica, SR Striker, thank you both for joining me. You should take a rest, sir. You sound tired. I am tired. It's a long show. I've done some long shows and a bunch of pollen in the air. It's been like a pollen storm in the air. It's given me a hoarse throat, so even though my voice is tired, even though I'm feeling energetic, but that's going to be it for now. Thank you again for joining me. New videos Thursday and Saturday and a live stream every Turtle Tuesday. Thank you for joining me. What a wonderful audience. I'm the one who should be thanking you guys. I'm the lucky guy here. Wouldn't be the same without you, so just wanted to say thanks, and I'll see you next Turtle Tuesday for the next live stream. I think there's just one thing left to say. Cowabunga! Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave a comment and share this video. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more Ninja Turtles videos like this.